Secure, contain, protect. SCP-1265. Object class, Euclid. Special containment procedures. Site 1265, which contains SCP-1265, is to be publicly maintained as a wildlife preserve by the Safe and Clear Planet Initiative, a Foundation front company. Scientific discoveries made by the Foundation regarding wildlife within SCP-1265 may be published following corresponding evidence being found in the fossil record. Civilians wishing to travel through SCP-1265 are to be treated with Class D integrated selective amnestics in order to be unable to remember instances of SCP-1265-A that they come into contact with. All untreated civilians found to have come into contact with SCP-1265 instances are to be treated with Class A retrograded general amnestics implanted with false memories and released. Every 6 months, eggs laid by instances of SCP-1265-A are to be harvested for incubation and study before being released into the wild at maturity. Full procedures to care of young specimens of SCP-1265-A, including imprinting procedures, see document 1265-I. SCP-1265 is an irregularly shaped area of land measuring 50 kilometers squared within the Congo Basin, Africa. SCP-1265 is mostly contained with the Democratic Republic of the Congo, but approximately 15 kilometers squared is contained within the neighboring Republic of the Congo. The majority of SCP-1265 is uninhabited, save for some tribal villages and containing flora typical of the Congo Basin. SCP-1265 is inhabited by several species known to be extinct, mostly from the clade Dinosauria. These animals, collectively designated SCP-1265-A, appear spontaneously in groups of 5, approximately once every 30 days, and are not necessarily found on the fossil record within Africa. Instead, they appear to be selected based on the climate they lived in during the Mesozoic era. Instances of SCP-1265-A are incapable of leaving SCP-1265, as they dematerialize upon crossing the border of SCP-1265. And reappear in an area within the 3 kilometers of the border, sedated. SCP-1265-A are also not chosen based on one particular period of the Mesozoic, but the Cretaceous and Jurassic are the most well represented, with sparse populations of Triassic period dinosaurs. In addition, several non-dinosaur reptilians, such as pterosaurs, are known to exist within SCP-1265, but are not commonly seen. SCP-1265-A instances, even carnivores, show no aggression or fear towards humans unless provoked. To date, the 3 Foundation personnel killed in SCP-1265 have died as a result of accidentally provoking a 1265-A instance, as opposed to being actively hunted by a carnivorous species of SCP-1265-A. Notably, there are a few large carnivores or herbivore dinosaurs presented as SCP-1265-A instances, and a lack of dinosaur species whose fossils have been found in North America. For example, species such as Tyrannosaurus rex and Brachiosaurus have never been cited in SCP-1265, but species such as Spinosaurus and Kentrosaurus are relatively common. Proportionally speaking, there is a 5-to-1 ratio of non-American dinosaurs to American species. Finally, there are several instances of SCP-1265-A that have not yet been discovered in the fossil record, collectively known as SCP-1265-A. SCP-1265-A instances are known for being unusually aggressive and will often charge at or attempt to attack researchers and other animals within SCP-1265 indiscriminately. As of yet, Foundation researchers have been unable to determine the origin of most instances of SCP-1265-A. Some have been found in the fossil record, and as such, have been reclassified as instances of SCP-1265-A. Notably, SCP-1265-A instances reclassified as SCP-1265-A usually lose all aggressive tendencies. SCP-1265 is believed to have existed for at least 200 years, according to historical records. Several instances of SCP-1265-A have been integrated into the folklore of several tribes in the area near SCP-1265. For further details, see Interview 1265-01. Interview 1265-01. An interview conducted by Dr. Wells in a Maasai village 5.5 kilometers away from the perimeter of SCP-1265 regarding SCP-1265-A sightings. All dialogue is translated from the Lwinglan language. Begin log. What can you tell me about these monsters? There are several of them in the jungle, almost all of them in the water. They do not eat people, though. Not most of them. Except for Nigma Mumne. Nigmu Mumne is like a big snake with legs. Walks on all four legs like a dog. And has big ridge on its back. That will eat you if it catches you. Tell me about Maliki. Maliki Membe is the largest of them all. It is big enough to block rivers and makes the lakes rise. It could breathe underwater, but is not a fish, and the earth shakes when it walks. There is also Miblu, the beast with planks in its back. Produces illustration of Camarasaurus and Kentrosaurus from his pack. Are these Maliki and Miblu? Yes and no. No? These do not have feathers. Everything else is right, but Mibu has feathers, so does Maliki. They are almost like birds in that way, but they do not fly. The ones that do fly have no feathers. What else can you tell me about this area? It is hexed. The Malikis and the Mimbus and others cannot leave it without vanishing, nor could their eggs and meat. Years ago, hunters tried to bring back the carcasses of a Maliki. It took the whole village, and when they reached the edge of the area, it simply vanished. How many people have gone into the area over the past several years? Many. They are hunters, but they do not want to kill. They wanted to find Maliki and nothing else. They never succeeded for whatever reason. It is because they do not look in the one area for Maliki. We tell them that it is dangerous, and it is. All people know that area is dangerous, and not to go near it. That will be all. Thank you for your cooperation. End log. Note, administration of amnestics was deemed unnecessary due to the familiarity the majority of the village had with SCP-1265. Collected notes regarding SCP-1265-A. Notes taken during a monthly expedition through SCP-1265 by Dr. Neal. I still find it fascinating that almost all instances of SCP-1265-A, well, the dinosaurs at least, are feathered, not scaled. All I have to say is this. Chen, eat your heart out. This blows Yaxi out of the water. Wangs comes across a few carcasses, and he joked a few times about wanting to see what they tasted like. I don't trust dinosaur meat, especially given what was found at that farm in China. There are also some trilobites in the water, however, and the natives sometimes come here to fish for them. They taste like prawns. As noted in the main description, the majority of them are from the clade Dinosauria, and are all suited to fit the climate of the Congo. Several of them are quasi-amphibious, such as the Kentrosaurus, which prefers to spend time in the water. Observation has been shown that it can hold its breath for up to an hour at a time. As such, Kentrosaurus native to this area have large amounts of algae growing on their plates and spikes, occasionally giving the illusion that they are living bushes of some sort. Kentrosaurus are usually quite docile, but we've seen that their thagomizers can take down small trees. Despite the theory created by Mr. Russell in the 1980s, there is absolutely no evidence that Troodon would have ever evolved into the so-called Dinosaurid, but are rather intelligent. They have been seen using rudimentary tools in a manner similar to chimpanzees in order to pick fruit from trees and throw rocks at prey in order to injure it. We found a family of baryonyx today. As it turns out, they're semi-aquatic, and use their tails to shoot through the water after fish, and chomp them like crocodiles or gharials. They appear to be associated with the clan of Spinosaurus. Dr. Moore was very disappointed about seeing a living Spinosaurus, and honestly, I can't blame him. They're mostly quadrupedal, and have feathers covering more like ducks than anything else. Their skeletal structure is completely unsuited for walking upright, and the less said about the so-called spine, the better. Scientifically fascinating, but as a lifelong dinosaur enthusiast, I must grieve for such a titan. We've made an incredible discovery. A four-legged flying dinosaur with wings on both its arms and legs. Wang's speculated that it is a completely new species of Microraptor, native to Asia. It's colored like a raven. Its plumage is an iridescent black. Since it has not been seen in the record, it's an A instance, and those things are tetchy. Wang nearly got his finger bitten off sedating it. It's even found in the fossil record. We've named it properly, but for now, it's just Microraptor foundentii. We finally found something that isn't feathered. It's a species of crocodile, Postosuchus, late Triassic. It was drinking at the edge of a water when suddenly a pack of Coelophysis jumped out and attacked it. Several of them went for its throat, cutting the jugular as soon as it bled out. They began stripping down the corpse to the bone. It was astounding, almost like piranhas tearing apart a cow in the Amazon. We managed to collect the skeleton, and Wang noticed that the thing had 3 shattered ankles, as if they had fallen and landed on their feet. Probably why the Coelophysis were able to take it down so easily. We saw a magnificent fight between a Therizinosaurus and a Carnotaurus. The Therizinosaurus particularly decapitated the poor carnivore, which was about the same size. The Therizinosaurus then did something rather odd. It cut open the Carnotaurus's corpse and dipped its claws in the blood, before scorning the tree around it with dinosaur blood. I believe that this was done for the purpose of marking territory. It's actually rather fascinating, if somewhat gruesome. The Therizinosaurus then ate a bit of flesh from the Carnotaurus and left the area. Dr. Moore has apparently never seen a Dilophosaurus outside of a certain movie. He was absolutely shocked when he saw one. It wasn't a 2-meter-long creature that acted like a dog, but rather a 6-meter-long creature that looked like it could bite off his head. It ran away, but we managed to get some good pictures. Also found some footprints from an unknown sauropod. I honestly have no idea what on earth we saw today. We found a new instance of SCP-1265-A. It appeared to be a ceratopsid with a single horn and 4 short stubby legs, but it had a long tail dragging along the ground, uncharacteristic of ceratopsids, and didn't have a frill of any sort. Instead, it almost seemed to have a floppy ear near the top of its head. It was also quite aggressive and was engaged in combat with a Pachyrhinosaurus for unknown reasons. and ended up goring the poor thing. We decided to head back to the site after that. The end.